Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Wednesday, May 8th, and this will be our chart lesson for the day. Again, you can see, zoom in here a little more, another low volume range type day. We closed closer to the highs today. Market's actually reopened now, so we should be starting another bar here. But we closed slightly lower. We traded much lower, but only closed slightly lower. And again, it's just a range type day. Again, low volume. The volume continues to be lower the last week or so. But let's there it is on the daily chart. Not much you can say about it other than it's just a range day. But let's flip over to the 2000 tick chart so you can get a better look at it and kind of see how the day played out. And here it is. And you can see we traded down early, then we rallied back up, then traded back about half of that and rallied back up. And I mean, we closed closer to the top. We closed in the upper half of the range anyway, even higher than the midline. Midline's along here. Earlier I had this a little lower, but once we made these two highs, I adjusted this, and this seems like the better spot for the highs here. And of course, we never really tested the lows. Most of the we did correct here. I mean, this early sell-off left this gap at the 8:30 open, this yellow line. So it was no surprise we tried to fill that gap. But when we went a little higher there, I thought it might be a bullish day, but didn't turn out that way. We just kind of chopped around sideways after that. So it was real slow this morning. Just not. There were some second entries, but they just weren't good setups. Had a few late morning and really nothing this afternoon. Just not much volume. But let's zoom in here and we'll go through the trades. It won't take long today. And you can see 7 o'clock came right in here as we're trading down. It's just no entries here. And then we bounce at these lows. It's a possibility here. It's a second entry. The problem is you're not making. It's a slightly higher low, so this is really your signal bar. But you can see it's a first entry, and then when it breaks above that, it's a second entry, and there's plenty of room back there. It's just an inside bar, but because of the support and the fact that you're bouncing off this trend line, you may still take that. I mean, I liked it in real time. I'll mark it green. This is kind of the same thing. Again, you come back, you get a first entry, and then it makes a lower high. It doesn't make a lower low, but that lower high, break above it, is a second entry. And again, it's right off the key entry point. And I mean, I would have liked it better if it breaks lower first and then turns up, but it doesn't. It can't. The trend line's there, and it's too strong. So, but again, it's a second entry right off the key entry point. Fairly bullish bar. So again, maybe you I liked it in real time, even though normally I'd want it to break lower. I still liked it, so maybe you take that one. Again, we had, even though this makes a little higher high here, it's still 2 legs back, but again, signal bar is no good there. You come back with a second entry right here, but signal bar doesn't qualify, and you see by sticking to the rules, you don't get stopped out. And this is another one that I marked green. It's a 2-bar matching low there, so it really counts as a new low, even though and it's really only 1 tick different from that one. And so you could count that as a second entry. I liked it in real time. I'll mark it green. It's not a perfect setup, but if you understand what's going on there, I'd count this as a double top, so it's a first entry, second entry there. And even if you wanted to count that as a first entry, and this is a second entry, and this is a third, you still get the break in a new low, and this would be considered a higher low. So you still could find another reason to take that. And then you get another second entry here, but that signal bar is just not going to cut it. Looks a little congested too. Same thing here, another second entry, but I think it's too late. You've already had a close outside the main trend line and 2 measured legs up, so it makes it hard to enter right there. It's another one you could argue that maybe it's green. but I think it's a little late to be entering that. But you can see it's right off the key entry point again. Um, and sometimes, we'll get back into that trend line, and plus we notice you already had a break in 2 legs up, and then you also had an overshoot up here as well. And so I didn't mark it. I don't think it. I think it's a little late, but you might still argue that it's green. There was another trade in here somewhere that I wanted to talk about. A couple of people asked me about it. I'm not sure where it was yet. I'll try to come back and find it. This is just a lower high after the break and 2 legs up, and then the overshoot. You get a lower high with a nice signal bar. I like that one. And you actually get 2 legs down here, and then you correct. Coming back, break outside, new high, and a very nice signal bar again. And you really got a double top there as well. I like that one. And we just start chopping sideways. This one's tempting, but I think there's a little too much stem, and it does make a higher high than this last one. And you might count that as a triple test, but with it bouncing off that midline and leaving that stem, I just think you have to pass that one up. I don't see any. There's a triple test on the long, but there's not room to get out. But then it comes back, and this actually breaks higher and fails and turns. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And turns down. And I like trading that on the engulfing bar because it probably trapped people. And there is a triple test across there as well. 1, 2, 3. This is a little lower, so, but this one just pushed a little higher. I think you could still argue you've tested that the resistance across there 3 times, but it doesn't matter. It's just a failed breakout and a trap. If you wait till this closes, I don't think you can take it. I think you have to take it before on the engulfing bar. If you wait for that to close, it closes outside the resistance, and that makes it a little tough to want to enter again, and you've got too much stem here. So that's the reason I marked that one green. Here you got another first entry, second entry, but that signal bar doesn't qualify, so you got to wait and hopefully you get a lower high, which you do. Just go short right there. Nice lower high following the second entry. And you did get a close outside and a new leg down, but a lot of times you're going to get 2 measured legs down. In this case, you actually get another second entry here. We've already had the break and 2 legs, and you did get a close outside here, but you didn't get a new high. And you also have a little bit of stem there. I marked this one green because it's, you're still in the trend line. It's a chance you could still retest the lows again, which you do. But I'm just not crazy about that signal bar. I marked it green. I didn't really like it in real time, but I marked it green all the same. And we did get a higher low here, and then we started rallying. But I don't see any way to get in this rally here. It's just not a good setup. And then again, you get back in a range here, and by here you got a triple test. I would have liked this better if it touched the resistance again. I still think you have plenty of room to get out there. There's not a whole lot of room to this low. I'm not sure if there's how much there is there. I mean, it's 1 1/4, so it's like a tick shy, but this is the low you're really most concerned about on a second entry. Not this one so much, but more this one. And so there's plenty of room on that. It turns out to be, it doesn't matter, it's a fairly easy trade. You get much more than what you need. And of course it fails on the failed breakout here and rallies back. This was tempting here. If it would have broke higher there, I'd say go long, but it doesn't. You get a matching high, and then it breaks higher, and it creates a little trap and turns back up. I didn't mark this. This is not really where you're wanting to look for a reversal, because that's kind of what it is, a reversal pattern. But it's a trap, that trap people on the breakout, and you're trying to get back long into this range again, most of these breakouts are going to fail. So if you saw that and saw it that way and traded it on the engulfing bar, maybe you take that trade. I wouldn't wait. I wouldn't take it after this closes. I think there's too much stem there. But on the engulfing bar, I think you're okay. So it's a little more advanced trade, but it looks a little congested there too. So that's another thing. But that's just because you're finding resistance at first there, and then you're closing above it. So it's mixed as to whether this is, at this point, whether this is going to be support or resistance. But I think you trapped them right here, and you can see how it rockets up real fast. That shows you it was a trap. Um, and it is a failed second entry short as well. It's not exactly the point where you're looking to, I mean, you look for these at the lows of a range, but a tight one like this, not necessarily. You would be more interested in finding it down here at these lows to get long back towards these highs here. So I hope that makes sense. And then that takes us into 230, nothing else after that. So again, it's very low volume, very few trades, not a lot of setups. But you have to be patient. I mean, this is the kind of trading we used to have quite a bit of. I mean, feels more normal. But if you've come into trading in the last 5 years, this probably feels like it's slow as Christmas. But this is more what we usually see in the ES in normal times. So, and what's normal times now? I honestly don't know. We've been through so much the last 5 to 6, 7 years of crazy volatility to hardly any movement to back to crazy volatility, and now I mean, I've seen it slower than this, don't get me wrong, but from compared to what we've had the last few years, this seems really, really slow and very low volume. That low volume concerns me. There's a reason the volume's low. What that is, I'm not going, I don't really know. I'm not going to tell you I've got the answer to that. But to me, I just think the market's nervous. I think people are scared of buying at these prices. They don't want to sell, but they don't necessarily want to buy. And maybe people are moving their, over that last sell-off, maybe people are moving out of the market into other more stable, moving their money to places where they can make more money or have better opportunity because the market really rallied this year. And with everything going on, I don't think they're going to let this market sell off before the election, but we may not be able to go much higher before the election. So the stock market might be getting stagnant to almost an opportunity that it might sell off at some point. So we'll just have to see. But I think that explains maybe why the volume's low, because I just think people are nervous. The stock market's probably not the best place to have your money right now. With all the war drums beating, the craziness going on, I mean, all it takes is just a little spark and this thing could come crashing down. And that's just the way markets are. So I think people are nervous. I think that maybe accounts for a lot of the lower volume. But anyway, we'll continue to monitor it. It may get crazy again and be right back to the high volatility again. So at some point. But right now, it's kind of quiet, kind of low volume, and but doesn't mean we can't rally at any time. So just be prepared. Just follow the price action. Let it show you what it's doing. Be careful in this tight congestion. Don't be eager to enter. Wait for good setups. I mean, just like this morning. I mean, there were some entries here, but if you were patient, there's one or two that are just real simple. But you just have to be patient and wait on them. So. Yeah, another quick chart lesson here because there's not much else we can say about this. I will say that once we had the break, they had 2 measured legs up. And I didn't measure this one, but I'm guessing there's a leg down here and another measured leg down. And you can see this one was pretty straightforward, and this is still, we met that measured move, but it took multiple swings down to do it. And then we had 2 measured legs up. So there it is. Again, I don't think there's much else we can say about today, but It is Wednesday, so we'll be back tomorrow. And believe it or not, tomorrow's Thursday, and we've already got another week behind us. I don't know where the time's going, but there's just not enough time in the day for me lately to get everything done. But I'm pretty much caught up from my vacation now. So I appreciate y'all's help with the emails on that, because it's been helpful for me to catch up, and I am caught up. So I'm kind of back to normal, if there is a normal for me lately. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow, and we'll wrap up our week tomorrow. But I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.